And I am live. Welcome again to Military Guna TV. And as you can see, we're here to discuss Mikel Arteta and Mikel Arteta's tactics. Now, at this point in time, we're still wondering what is happening with Arsenal Football Club. We're wondering at this point in time, feedback. We're still wondering what is happening. Okay, so as I'm saying, we're still not sure what is happening at Arsenal Football Club in regards to Mikel Arteta's tactics. Some people are saying his tactics are too defensive. Some people are saying that is how Jose Mourinho used to play and people used to slate him for it. But we know at this point in time that not everything will be as smooth as possible. But for now, let's dive in a little bit more on what is Mikel Arteta's tactics. Now, we know at this point in time that the statistics that are against that are being popped up at this moment in regards to how Arsenal is playing is not good, and it goes to show some of the issues that we're facing, various different types of issues, and it highlights the issues that we all know as Arsenal fans that we are facing at the moment. But at this point in time, can we ask ourselves a question? Are the players playing at their best? We have so many players at this club that are very much underperforming. And immediately, would definitely love to blame Mikel Arteta. Would definitely want to throw the blame on Mikel Arteta. Because he's the person that we would see at this point in time that we would say is not playing proper football to give the players the opportunity for them to stand out or for them to play with the freedom as though they would want to play. But at this point in time, we understand that not all the time it has to do with the players. We're slating Lacazette, we're slating Aubameyang, we're slating Willian, we're slating Xhaka, we're slating so many players. We're slating so many players because of tactics, and we are going at them because we're saying that they are not playing well. But sit back and think about it. Why are all these players playing so bad? Are the players the sole reason why the team in itself is not playing good? Because I do believe that it goes a bit deeper than just the players. So let's take this in consideration, or let's look at some of the factors that are some of the things that we're seeing. We are now seeing Lacazette underperforming. We're seeing Aubameyang underperforming. We're seeing Willian underperforming. We're seeing Tierney underperforming. We're seeing Xhaka underperforming. We're seeing Ceballos underperforming. Now, what is it that is causing all these players to underperform? What is causing all these Arsenal players to underperform? We blame the tactics. We blame the players. But from my perspective, it is both. It is a combination of players and tactics that is causing these issues. It's a combination of players not playing good, tactics not being employed in the rightful manner, and these are things that will definitely come out and hit you in the face like a hard board. Now, look at this. The system that Mikel Arteta is deploying is a 3-4-3, and we see that that is a system in which he's solely and remotely embedded in, and that is the system that is trying to get all the players playing at this current moment. But is that system a system that gets the best out of each player and each individual on the field? Now, what that does, because at this moment we're not getting the best out of all of these players, what it does is that it allows us as fans to cry out for different things, such as different players, different formation, different things to apply so that we can at least suit ourselves to say, or to officially say that the players are not good enough. But is the case in which the players in themselves are not good enough, or is the case in which the tactics that is being deployed just does not suit this set of players? And I think that is something that Mikel Arteta has to consider and definitely put some thought into it during this international break. Now, there are factors that govern other things, and I think that this allows us to see things on a different perspective. Factors such as players out of form, injuries, partnerships on the field. But that does not take away the fact that the system that is being deployed is not working at this moment. And it has to be considered. And some of these blames have to be thrown. Some of these responsibilities has to be thrown on the manager himself, which is Mikel Arteta. It has to. Because there's no way you can have a team and the entire team is underperforming. It means that something is wrong. Now, we have a front three of Lacazette, Willian, Pepe, Aubameyang. No, not front three, but we have a set of players that plays an attacking football for us. They are Lacazette, Willian, Pepe, Aubameyang, and Saka. Now, if you should take in consideration these players that are playing for us, they are quality players. They are quality players. But what is the problem that is stopping these quality players from performing? It has to be the system. Now, let me get into a bit of details in regards to the system. Mikel Arteta deploys a 3-4-3 formation. This formation, the 3-4-3 formation, you would see him deploy Gabriel, Holding, and David Luiz. Now, what would happen is that sometimes you find an interchange from David Luiz to Holding, or from Holding to Tierney. So I'm going to go with his last back three that he used. He used Kieran Tierney, Gabriel, and David Luiz. No, and Holding, sorry. No, one person out of that three had a good game, and that is Gabriel. He's commanding. He's a good defender. Now, we started a midfield of Thomas Partey and Elneny. We cannot slate him for starting the same lineup that he went to Manchester United and won the game with. But what I saw definitely was a mentality issue. And this mentality issue was one in which we would definitely say it wasn't one that was suited for Arsenal Football Club. And it's not one that we think Arsenal Football Club should even try going or moving forward with. That is the reason why Mikel Arteta is definitely trying to pull out some of these players. But anyway, deploying these tactics, you'll see that Mikel Arteta is trying his best to empower, I would say, to definitely embed his system inside these players. But these players are not. These players were not and will not be suited to that type of system. You have Lacazette coming so deep, he's close to the central defensive midfielder, and that does not allow an outball. And in every team, you will definitely need an outball. An outball is someone in which they can target, get the ball to as fast as possible to even ease some pressure off the defense. Right? We don't have that at this moment. But what I'm saying is, this tactics of playing so defensive, it is really hurting us. At some point in time, in some of the games, you'll see how deep our entire team is. You have some parts in the game in which our entire 11 players are inside our own 18-yard box. And that makes no sense. If we are going to defend with all men behind the ball, what should happen is that if you have all men behind the ball, all 11 players must be covering another opposition player. Makes no sense. You have 4 attackers and we have all 11 players behind those 4 attackers. That makes no sense. Like what I saw at Aston Villa, that makes no sense. So you have 2 first press, try to cover whoever, try to cover the person who has the ball. Then no, the rest of the team picked up the incoming runners. And that is what should have been happening. But what I'm seeing right now is that we don't have the ball, let's get behind the ball. And when everyone on the team get behind the ball, we're not challenging for the ball, the opposition still has the ball, and we're just there in front of our goals like cones. So that leaves an opportunity for a long-range shot, for a long-range lob ball inside 18-yard area. It leaves an opportunity for deflected goals inside our own box, which is an own goal, and one you see from Saka. So these are the issues that this defensive structure has really cost us. Now, this season is a season in which goals will score on you. And I think that this is the time in which now Mikel Arteta opens up the floodgate and tries best to go in, get the players a bit forward. The players are so deep that the moment we lose the ball, we're just heading back towards our own goal as if we are attacking our own goal. And that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me. I cannot see a situation in which we lost the ball and all 11 players are just running straight back to our own goal. That makes no sense. What should happen is that you make the first tackle. Now the first tackle should be your attacker. What that does, it allows the midfielders to cover the attackers, then allow the defenders to cover the midfielders. Then you have a unit of press and a unit of defensive unit as well. Now, take this in consideration. Another massive factor is how we're playing. We're playing too deep in our own half. Now, what this does is it causes us that whenever we retrieve the ball, because we are so deep in our own half, it takes us a marginal distance and an exceptional amount of time for us to reach to the opposition 18-yard box or to the opposition defensive third and into our attacking third where we can hurt them. And I can tell you, it is not good. And that is something that we have to eliminate. If you should observe how Manchester City, they press. When they press, they retrieve the ball as fast as possible. When they press, they retrieve the ball inside the defensive third, and they retrieve the ball inside the defensive third and their attacking third. Now, what that does is allows a quick snapshot, a quick play inside the 18-yard box, and also the ability for the defenders to cover. When you retrieve the ball closer to the opposition goal, these are the things that it definitely allows. And these are some of the things that Mikel Arteta is not employed inside these players. He's not instilling these type of systematical plays in these players, and it is very much costing us at this moment. We should have not lost 4 games so far throughout this season. But I think there's room for improvement. Just the same as though I would appreciate that I would appreciate that he actually made some effort in trying to get the defensive structure sorted out. But at this point in time, he has to do something about the attack. He has to try his best to push the team at least 15 to 20 yards more up the pitch. And that is where I would see Arsenal seeing a bit of glory. Because at this moment, because we are so deep in our own half, it is disabling us to start a quick counter. If we should counter, we'll be starting the counter attack in our own half, and that makes no sense. If you realize when Manchester United are on the counter, their counter starts from the halfway line. Their counter starts from half line where they're in the center circle, quick counter, Bruno Fernandes, boom, Rashford. Rashford is on the go, and that is where their counter starts. Arsenal counter start in our own 18-yard box. By the time we should reach the attacking third, it doesn't matter how slow a defender like Maguire is, he will get back in time. And because we are so slow and stagnant with our build-up play, we'll never reach there in such a quick time. If you could check on Twitter on Opta Joe's stats, you'll see where it said Arsenal are the slowest in the build-up towards reaching their opposition goal. And that is because we are so deep in our own half. And when you're so deep in your own half, it really causes you to be a bit slower than the norm. As I said before, if you're attacking and you're at the half line, you retrieve the ball at half line. There's a quick counter. You can break down the defense within seconds. But if you're defending as well, Arsenal defending where all 11 players are behind the ball inside your own 18-yard box, the moment you retrieve that ball, it will take a marginal amount of time and distance to cover for you to reach inside your opposition or the opposition defense. And by the time you might reach to that defense, at least 3 or 4 defenders might already be in position. Now, that is where the issue that Arsenal is facing so far. And that is where Mikel Arteta definitely has to fix. If you look into some of the stats that are being thrown around all over the place, we are the team that take the least amount of shots as a top 16. We're the team that has least possession in the opposition half. We're the team that takes the least amount of touches in the 18-yard box. And that has to do with our system. If you look at the teams that are scoring quite a number of goals, Aubameyang ranked about 46th out of all the Premier League players in amount of shots taken. He has taken 10 shots so far, and that is not good for our star striker. He has taken 10 shots on goal since the start of this season. Harry Kane had taken 42 shots on goal since the start of the season. And that is not good. The only difference is that whatever chance we create, in statistics, it shows that we are more clinical than other teams. We are ranked about top 5 in regards to conversion. But what would happen if we start to create more chance? More chance we create, the higher the conversion, because we'll be scoring more. But we're not creating chance wholly and solely because of the system. Now, as I said, this tactics that is being deployed by Mikel Arteta, we as Arsenal fans were saying, okay, we need a creative midfielder. We need that creative outlet, someone who's going to pick the ball, move it, play in the channels, play in the spaces, occupy defenders, move with defenders. But does that necessarily mean that creative player would be suited or would also fit in this Mikel Arteta system? Because bear in mind, this system requires all 11 players to be behind the ball. Now, if that creative player should retrieve the ball, and when he receives the ball, he's at the edge of his own 18-yard box. What is he going to create at that point? He cannot create anything because he is in his own half. He is in his own half of the field. He cannot create anything at that particular point in time. So it makes no sense. We are so gassed about getting a creative player when the system that we're deploying is solely a defensive system. If we're going to park the bus, the only thing that we're going to get is a driver. The driver will be the creative player. But guess what? The bus is still parked. The bus is still parked. So these are some of the things that Mikel Arteta has to sort it out. No, don't park the bus. Move that bus 20 yards up the pitch. Move that bus 20 yards up the pitch, which allows and which would allow the attacking players to be closer to the opposition goal, which would allow the attacking midfielder that is being bought, the driver, to be more efficient, to pick passes in passing lane and channel to hurt the opposition. Now, if we don't do that, that will be the problem. Now, this January transfer window, I would see for sure how well does this club see us, or how far does this club see us going to the rest of this season. Because we as fans know exactly what the issue is. We know exactly what the issue is. So let's see how best Mikel Arteta does also see the issue. I'm not saying he does know the issue, but let's see if the club is going to back him. Because at this point in time, we're crying for Mikel Arteta's head. But is the club going to back him? Is the hierarchical structure in the club going to back him? Will the hierarchical structure of Arsenal Football Club back the manager this January transfer window? So the name that is being spoke about so far is Szoboszlai, or Szoboszlai. And are we as Arsenal fans sure? Are we sure that we're going to get Or? Are we really sure that we're going to get him? Our Arsenal is going to spend that money for him. And knowing Arsenal, we might go by Poundland and get a cheaper option. Someone who cannot deliver and someone who is also injury prone, because we love to buy an injured player. And that is typical Arsenal. But back to the tactics. As I'm saying before, playing so deep in our own half, it is what is being our Achilles heels at this point in time. It is what is killing our tactic, our striker, our main striker, our creative outlets, our system. It is what is causing all these massive problems. And it will not change. It will not change. And I'm not sure why it won't change, but I don't think Mikel Arteta is that type of person to change. He really struck me as one of these stubborn persons who believe in something and who is willing to die by something. So, thank you very much for tuning in. Please, if you disagree with me, put it in the comment. But before you go, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much for tuning in to Military Gouda TV. I'm out.